Hello, buddy. This is Robert Hollis, man. I sure got something super exciting to share with you, and I hope your day is going great. Today, I'm just going to call him Coach Curtis, and you'll see why later in this interview. But I wanted to reach out to Curtis. Curtis and I met a few years ago, and we've known about each other, but we got to meet, and since then, we built an incredible relationship. And I just wanted each and every one of you guys to get to hear, how Curtis not only came from basically nothing and raised himself up through coaching and how he can also help you. So Curtis, thank you very much for getting on here.
Gosh, Robert, I'm shocked and awed that you're interviewing me today. This is just you made my millennial.
Well, first of all, you deserve it. 100% deserve it. And I know, like a lot of people, they sometimes don't feel like they're enough or they really didn't accomplish anything. But I want the world to know about Coach Curtis because it's important to them. I know that you can help them. So Curtis, if you could really quickly tell us, hey, I always joke when I say this, but, why don't you tell people how you were born into a very wealthy family and how and how, you were basically born with a silver spoon. I'm joking. But tell people a little bit about, how you even were, what was you doing before you even heard the word coaching or mentor?
Wow. How to shorten all of that pain and suffering in my life. No, I grew up in Boston, Massachusetts. I did not grow up in a wealthy family, very, very hardworking family, as most people do. A single mom. My dad had left probably before I was 1 year old. My dad's been non-existent in my life. So it was really my mom and, my grandparents and things raising me. So those were my father figures, who were basically my mom and my brother and things like that. And so at a young age, I thought, well, maybe I should go to college. My grades weren't good enough to go to college. So I ended up becoming a Marine. And
wow.
My whole family.
Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Yeah, so I became a U.S. Marine right out of high school. I actually had to beg. That's probably where I learned sales for the first time. To beg my mom to sign a waiver because I was too young yet. I graduated second youngest in my class, and she had to sign for me to be able to go in yet. I wasn't 18 yet or whatever. So did that, went in the Marine Corps, got out. Long story short, I ended up becoming, when I was young, like yourself, I was great at mechanics. I actually, my first military occupational specialty, MOS in the military, was a mechanic. I used to work on Humvees.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I worked in Hummers, Humvees, and the Deuce and a Halfs, and all the big stuff. And when I got out, I didn't want to keep doing that. I wanted to change my life. I wanted to change my legacy. And I thought, my mom said, well, why don't you get into sales? You're great with people, blah, blah, blah. So I became a car salesman like my older brother. My older brother used to own a car dealership up north.
Wow.
And, I got into car sales. I moved down here to Florida where she had moved while I was in the Marine Corps. Hope I'm not talking too fast. I'm trying to shrink.
No. Perfect.
So that was my story. I got out, became a car salesman. Yes, I was a car salesman. And I just for some reason, at a young age, I knew to look for people that were successful and try to get close as I could to them and learn from them. And when you're in a business like where it's sales involved, a lot of times it's the top dogs, they don't want to help you. Right? They're busy selling and making their money.
Yeah, but you're also why would you teach your competition, right?
Exactly. I'm the competition. Exactly. So in that industry, it's very, cutthroat and, a lot of sharks swimming around. So I did that, but I started to make money fast. And then I ended up moving over to Miami, and I really messed my life up. I was drinking really bad, just hanging around a really bad crowd. In a short time frame, I ended up basically being homeless.
Wow.
The friends I had moved over there with, I was actually homeless for a short time. And it got so low. I felt so low at that time, I can recall it. Sleeping on, my friend let me stay on his couch till I could figure out what I was going to do. Where was I going to go? What was I going to do for work? And this guy with big teeth popped on the TV one night when I was praying for help for something,
wow,
an answer to help me. And this infomercial came on. Most of you probably know who I'm talking about. And, this big guy came on the TV and said, if I listen to him, I got his program, he'd change my life. So
how old were you?
Oh gosh, 20s, in my 20s.
Mid 26 was the aha moment for me. 26.
Yeah, that's about right. Probably around 26, because I ended up working for him by the time I was 29, 28. So it's probably around there, 26. At the time, I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. And his program, I think, was $297. It was a, change your life program, 30 days. It was $297, I believe, back then, or $390 something. And I was like, wow, that's so far outside of my realm of what I could ever afford, right, back then. And I said, you know what? I'm going to keep watching. I listened to him, and this gentleman's name is Tony. He came on the TV and he said, if you can't afford this, then you must. If you can't afford this, then you must. I said, I just felt it right now. That just boom.
Yeah. I call them, Curtis, I call them significant emotional events that, and it's amazing. One, you felt like military, and then another significant emotional event, homeless. When people hear my story in my book, I didn't have any money when I said, man, help me. So, there's another significant emotional event. And so it was funny because my mentor's first training was $350 for, like a weekend. And I mean, he could have just as well asked for $5,000 or $1 million, because I didn't have either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you bought the training first, and
I said, you know what, I'm going to do whatever it takes. And I scrimped and scraped and and I found out he had books. And I said, ooh, I can go to a bookstore. I went to the library and you couldn't find them in the library. So I went to a bookstore and I said, I can sit here all day and read this thing. So I started with his books for free, and then I went back into car sales. I actually used his teachings to get a job. I used the influence and persuasion to actually get a job again as a car salesperson. And I just started improving, just using him as a kind of a virtual mentor.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And so I became like the 3rd top salesperson and the 2nd top salesperson. And within a year, Robert, I had everything I could ever dream of at the time, my own house, everything. And it was just mind blowing. And through investigating and talking to people at his organization, Tony Robbins reached out to me, and he personally recruited me and trained me. He said, hey, I'm starting a coaching business. I want to help more people, right? Not everyone can afford $1 million a year plus a percentage of their increase in income, which Tony charges, right? And wait 5 to 10 years on the waiting list. He said, I want to help more people. So I'm training coaches. And I said, wow, yes. Packed my clothes. I had never been to like California. Packed 2 bags, my duffel bags from the Marine Corps with clothes. A little bit of money I had to maybe get through, the time that I had to train with him. And that's it. And I just went. I just listened and I went and I did it. And here I am. I've been coaching ever since.
Yeah. So how many years has that been now that you've been coaching?
I've been a full-time coach for 17 years.
Wow.
Almost 18 years now.
Wow. Yep. Congratulations. So here's a crazy thought before we move on. How many live events do you think that you've been to?
Whew. God, I mean, in the beginning, it seemed like every day was a live event. Yeah. I mean, it was in the beginning, it's like 200 something days a year on the road, event after event after event. Over the years, it started to slow down, but hundreds of events. Yeah. I went on 13 years ago.
I bring this up, Curtis, all the time because that there's a person out there that, wrote the book, The Tipping Point, and then The Outlier, right? And it talks about, he did all these studies that you got to have. I think it was Gladwell is his name, Max Gladwell or something. Mm-hmm. And the book, Tipping Point and Outliers, is they did a study of the Beatles and Microsoft and all these guys, Steve Jobs, and it was this magic 10,000 hours that they have to make a mastery. And I
Yes.
was thinking before I did this interview with you, Curtis, and I hope that you don't mind me, saying this, but when you sit there and think about, I was with my mentor for 7 years. I think that you was with, Tony for 7 years. And when you think about, I was on the road, 50 weekends a year. And people sometimes go, wait a minute, there's a lot of holidays. Yeah, my mentor knew to do events on holidays because people had that time off. You know what I mean? So even Super Bowl holiday, we're doing a training because it's like, do you want to watch Super Bowl from your TV or do you want to be on the 50-yard line in the first 3 rolls? We're always looking for something, right? So I want you to sort of think about this because I was going, okay, so, easily if you did, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, that 40 hours, right? And it would take 5 years to get that mastery if you only did 8 hours a day, if you only work 5 hours a week, right? And so I was thinking of this, and it's like, you easily have to have over 50,000 hours of mastery.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let me think for a second. You're right on the money with the 10,000 hours, because that's what Tony wanted us to. I think it was. He's a little intense, so it was like 20,000 hours, right? He would combine it, and I would, once you learn the skill. When we did an immersion, so I learned the skills in 28 straight days from 6 a.m. till 2 a.m. for 28 straight days. It was literally like going back to boot camp on Parris Island, literally.
Yeah.
And then you had to master the skill, right? So you had to apply it. And so then it was 6 days a week, 12, 13-hour days, standing like I am right now, high intensity coaching people to get them results.
Yeah.
And I did that for 2 straight years to master the skill and understand the skill where I'm living it and I'm helping other people live it. And yeah, you're right on the monies. And, so it's thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of coaching to master it.
Not only doing those hours, but like me, I know that you did it. This is not you winging it. This is under supervision of other people that have put in more hours than you. So they're watching you to make sure that, because when you're helping someone get a breakthrough, when you're helping someone get rid of their limiting beliefs, when you help somebody learn to look forward to something and never have to worry about that stopping them again. Tony wants to make sure people get results, just like my mentor, Bill Gould. And so you got watched by other people to make sure you got an outcome for that person. And so not only do you learn because you're being watched while you're doing it, but things that you might have missed to help that person get the breakthrough, now you get to see that added stuff. So it's like, so it's like you're a first or second year quarterback, you finally get to play, but you got someone like Tom Brady that's just helping you a little better. And so
it was perfect, and at the time I actually, we just had a couple offices, and I actually shared an office with Josh, Tony's son Josh, and Tony's former wife Becky was right across the hall. So they're listening to every word I said, and they'd be on it. If I was guiding someone in the wrong way, they would run across. But that's when I learned the skills. But now, I mean, we'll talk about hopefully what I'm learning from you is just
So before we go to that, why do you think that a lot of people? So I started this interview out saying Coach Curtis, and I'll tell you why. Because to me, Curtis is a coach's coach. You know what I mean? There's people that learn how to do breakthroughs. They learn how to help people. They help people maybe use some kind of persuasion tactics to get people to do things they wouldn't normally do on their own, and them as the benefactor. But those coaches that learn those skills still don't know how to market. They still don't know how to go out there and find coaching clients. And so one of the things is even if they could find them, they don't know that skill of helping that person make the decision to commit to getting a coach and doing the work and getting that done. So why I call Curtis the coach's coach is because if you're one of those individuals that know you can help other people, but you don't know how to find the right people that are motivated, they're coachable. Listen to that, coachable. They know how to follow instructions. And get this, they got money and they understand the importance of paying money to learn a new skill. See, people in the marketing arena, sales arena, coaching arena, they know. In fact, I personally slate a percentage of my budget on a yearly basis just for coaching.
Yep.
And believe it or not, Curtis was one of my coaches. So that goes to show you that I seek out people and I'm going, wow, if this guy has learned 50,000 plus hours around some of the best on the planet, then do I think that Curtis could teach me some things? And he absolutely did. When I decided to get into the coaching arena, I leaned out to him. We were good friends. And I love sending Curtis money. I love sending Curtis lots of money.
I love taking it.
Yeah. And so share with people, why do you think that people don't think like you and I thought? Where, oh my God, I'm in trouble. I need to find someone to help me. Because in my book, people always ask me all the time, Robert, what's your key to success? Asking for frickin' help from someone that's helped other people. I mean, I'm a simple guy, Curtis, but you doing all that talking to people, you know, what do you think's in their mind that doesn't make them understand that everything could change if they could just find someone to help them and know how to ask them the questions that they don't know how to ask themselves?
Right. You're right on the money, Robert. It really is all mindset. You know, we were taught it's 80% mindset, 20% mechanics. Then we discovered it's probably more like 95% mindset.
Wow.
It's unfortunate that it's more about your identity, what you believe, who you are, what you can and can't do. That's all developed at a young age. And if you were never exposed to this type of personal development like you offer and other people offer, the mind is so closed. You're in what we call your model of the world, right? You just have your model of the world, and that's what you operate on. And anything outside of that or that threatens that, right? Our mind's job is to keep you in that model of the world, keep you safe. So anything that threatens that, your brain will subconsciously will do things, crazy things, to keep you from making a change, right? So the only way it really, and we can take you through these processes to help break through that, but for most people,
you did with me.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and vice versa. So all coaches need coaches, right? So it comes from, right, desperation or inspiration. So you have to reach either a severe pain level, and unfortunately some people have a high tolerance for pain, and they can go through pain and suffering and never change and just keep going deeper and deeper. Fortunately, some people, they'll reach that pain threshold and say, I'll do anything, like I was on that couch, where I said, I'll figure out a way. I cannot go any further. My life sucks so bad that I have to change, right? And so I made a change, and it makes an instant change in your mind, and you just make it happen. For other people, they have a different mindset where they are inspired. They see someone like yourself and what you're doing in the world, and you're helping people, and say, wow, I would really like to be like Robert. And they say, I'm going to follow him. I'm going to learn what he has to offer, and that's what I'm going to do. So it's something of a combination, but it's more just a person's mindset is just so stuck. And if we can just get them in front of us and just help them break through that, stachoma or whatever is stopping them, then we can help them and say, okay, well, let's take you in baby steps. Let's kind of expand that mindset a little bit.
Well, I know for those of you that are watching this, you got to reach out to Curtis. If you do anything, just, there's going to be some links around this video. At least reach out to him and join his free group. Get to know some of the stuff, because Curtis is dropping wisdom bombs. He's like me. He loves to serve people. He loves to help people out. So if you have no money, you got to find money. But if you have no money, at least follow him and reach out to him. And and watch his stuff that he constantly does. That, I mean, Curtis, I don't have a clue how many videos you have online, but you're like me. You just keep putting them online, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, I know that when Curtis reached out to me, it was like the whole concept for me simply, and I love sharing this, is the whole mental thought of what am I worth? You know what I mean? So I knew in my industry, which, you know, pretty documented, most of training is free. You know, you'll go to a corporate training, it's not very much, and you see a bunch of speakers doing their 20-minute TED Talk, and it just seems like it just never ever comes to fruition. So when I jumped in the coaching world, which with the help of Curtis, you know, this has been I think about let me see, 9 months. Let's just call it 9 months. So that'd be 20 months. 20 months I've been doing this now, and 21 months. And so Curtis and I knew each other, and I was going, I want to do this, you know, high ticket group coaching. And Curtis is like, oh my God, I'd pay, you know, tens of thousands of dollars to listen to you. And I'm going like, what? You know, no, I can't. No, maybe $97. You know, and Curtis is sold high ticket coaching forever. You know what I mean? Because the guy he sold coaching for wasn't giving it away. You know what I mean? And all the people that he did. So, you know, Curtis originally, you know, helped me get through those thoughts about, it's about the outcome. He said, it's not about Robert. It's not about you and what you're worth. It's the outcome you deliver for other people. So if they're going to get divorced and you can make sure that they now stay married and fall back in love with each other, what is that worth? And if someone's struggling and getting their marketing together, and they're going broke and have to go get a job, or they can't get away from that dead-end job, what is it worth if you could show someone how to replace their income and go full-time? What is that worth for freedom? And I went, got it, Curtis. So Curtis really got me to think that it's not about me and my worth, my lack of self-confidence, my belief in myself, my identity. It was the outcome that I could deliver for other people. So Curtis, thank you so much, because when Curtis spent a little bit of time with me, then bingo, it was a matter of days when I had my first $5,000 coaching client.
I remember the call.
Yeah, and now it's, you know, now we're making hundreds of $1,000s a month. So Curtis, thank you so much. So Curtis, you know, why don't you really share with people, you know, how to get a hold of you, and any last words that you have for people? I know that you do this full time, and I know I wanted to do this interview because more people need to have Coach Curtis. So please.
Thank you so much, Robert. And let me give you a quick plug, because I mean, I wouldn't be able to, I want to help more people, just thousands of people. And you know, what's cool is I coached you a little bit, and now you're coaching me to actually do that, to get my message out there in the world. And it blows my mind. It blew my mind when you know, before when you said, you know, I don't think I can coach. I can think of, and you had helped 51 people become, you know, multimillionaires. You know, like, are you kidding me? So it's just mind blowing, isn't it? What we can think in our mind. So yeah, if you want to reach out, I'd be happy to help you. You know, you can follow me on Facebook. I believe it's facebook.com/Kurt Phelan fan page. I believe it is. I'll post the links wherever people are watching this, somewhere up, down, sideways. You'll see a link, and I'll put in the links where you can get a hold of me. You can watch my videos. Maybe they'll help you. Feel free to reach out. You can always email me at kurt@kurtphelan.com. That's KURTPHELAN. I always spell it because it's kind of a difficult name to spell. But I'll have the links here. And if you see this on social media, feel free to like or comment below, and I'll say hi. I'll reach out to you.
Yeah, I'll definitely put his name and his links on this video so you guys can find him. And you know, for those people out there too, Curtis, that just you know, me, I always tell people, if I can do it, they can do it. I've helped other people. I know that you've helped so many people. It'd be amazing if you do you even have a number of people that you've actually done personal coaching with?
I've never counted individually, but I know personal clients over 1,000 one-on-one.
Wow.
And I've, you know, done tens of thousands of sessions, but actual people that I've helped change or improve their life, 1,000 one-on-one.
So I know that all of you that know me that are watching this, by God a phrase, documentation beats conversation. You know that's who I am. And there is absolutely no frickin' way that I would do this interview with Curtis if I didn't know that he could help you. It's not if he can help you. I know that he can help you. So reach out to him, let him help you with it, whatever's stopping you. And also just, just follow this man, because he just really, truly loves, we didn't get a chance to give a shout out to his awesome son.
I'm going to pick him up here in about an hour. Yeah.
Curtis is so dedicated as a father. It's amazing. Me and him will say that we're going to talk, and he's going, listen, I'm doing this with my son. It ain't happening today. And I'm exactly the same way. Families first. You know what I mean? So right. Curtis, really quickly give people that are watching this that are going, but I can't afford a coach. I don't know if I need a coach. I don't know if that's my next step. You and I know that should be their next step. Mm-hmm. Really quickly, to close out this video, give them the right hook they need to change their life.
The right hook. Well, here's the simple truth. There's so much junk out there. And you never know what or who to believe anymore. There's just so much out there. Here's the thing. Why not? We'll give it a shot. What's the worst thing that could happen if you and I had a conversation and you changed your life? I could actually help you. What would be the worst part of that? Maybe we talk for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe even a half an hour. And maybe you just hear one thing that helps you make a shift or a change in your life. Is that worth 15, 20, 30 minutes of your time?
Good one.
Now, here's the other one. Here's the other one, Robert. What could you gain? What if there was that one thing that you've been waiting your whole life and it just clicks and now your whole life has changed? You know people that I've done that for, Terry and people like that. And just imagine what if you just spent 15, 20 minutes and you got that one thing and now your whole life has changed?
Well, for me, once I was able to get someone and get them incredible outcome by getting them as a $5,000, client, then I've gotten multiple ones since then. It was like breaking the 4-minute mile. You know what I mean? So now I'm like, can I go higher? So if I do, I'm going to do another session with you, Curtis, to go to the 10 grand.
Oh, awesome. Absolutely. Whatever you want, Robert, you got it. And you just made a valid point mentioning, someone paying $5,000. The more you invest, right, the more you have committed, the better results you get. So it's not about how much you charge and all that. It's because when people invest more, they take it more serious. Yeah. They try harder. They do the work. Whereas, all this free junk out there, people don't do anything with it. So it's actually useless. It's better to pay someone. And the more you pay them, the better results you're going to get, believe it or not. Because not only do we as coaches work harder, right? But you are more committed. You're more vested in that result. You want that result, and you're going to do whatever it takes. So that's a good point.
Yeah, and one last thing I'll say, I mean, me and Curtis could talk to you forever. I don't want any of you to watch this video and assume that that's what Curtis charges. The uniqueness about Curtis is everything about him is you are unique. There's only one of you. You got one DNA, one fingerprint. There's no one like you. The uniqueness of Curtis coaching, too, is it's extremely, extremely customized. So reach out to him, do a strategy session with him, see if he can help you. I know that he can. And then, work on whatever you can to get this guy for any amount of time that you can get him. Well, Curtis, thank you so much. I just appreciate you more than you know. Thank you so much with your help with me. And I really, really encourage people to reach out to you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Robert. Like I said, you made my millennial. You're my sensei. I'm absorbing everything you got, and it's just been a blessing. Been a blessing, pure blessing to have you in my life.
God bless. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, buddy.